The morning sun shimmered over the runway at Langley Air Base as technicians moved busily around the aircraft hangars. Among them was Emily Carter, a quiet 22-year-old maintenance apprentice who spent her days inspecting bolts, hydraulic lines, and fuel systems. To most, she was just the mechanic girl, the one always with grease on her hands, hair tied back, never speaking much. But to her, airplanes were life. She could identify any engine's hum with her eyes that day. She had been assigned to a Boeing 737 that was being prepped for a military transport flight. Emily's mentor, Captain Harris, was piloting. He trusted her instincts more than most. "You've got pilot's eyes, not mechanics," he'd often say. She'd just smile and get back to her work. The aircraft rolled onto the runway just before noon, the heat waves dancing over the tarmac. Emily was supposed to stay on base, but a last-minute logistics issue put her on board to assist with an onboard system check mid-flight. She strapped into a seat near the cockpit, her first time ever flying in something she helped maintain. At 15,000 feet, things felt smooth. Emily listened through her headset as Captain Harris and the co-pilot chatted with air traffic control. She was memorizing every move they made. Then, mid-sentence, the captain's voice faltered. There was a cough, then silence. The co-pilot turned, confused, and saw Harris slumped over the controls. "Captain?" he shouted. Panic surged through the cabin. The aircraft dipped slightly before the co-pilot grabbed the yoke. But seconds later, he gasped, his hand shaking, and collapsed too. Both pilots were down. The autopilot warning tone filled the cockpit. Emily froze. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. The radio crackled. "Flight 427, do you copy? You're losing altitude." Her eyes darted across the instrument panel. She had seen these controls 1,000 times, from below through open panels, not from this seat. Then something inside her clicked. She took the headset from the unconscious pilot and spoke, her voice trembling. "This is Emily Carter. I'm maintenance crew. The pilots are unconscious. I need help." For a moment, the radio went silent. Then came a calm but firm voice. "Emily, this is Air Traffic Command. We're with you. You're Emily Carter." A quiet 22-year-old maintenance apprentice who spent her days inspecting bolts, hydraulic lines, and fuel systems. To most, she was just the mechanic girl, the one always with grease on her hands, hair tied back, never speaking much. But to her, airplanes were life. She could identify any engine's hum with her eyes closed. That day, she had been assigned to a Boeing 737 that was being prepped for a military transport flight. Emily's mentor, Captain Harris, was piloting. He trusted her instincts more than most. "You've got pilot's eyes, not mechanics," he'd often say. She'd just smile and get back to her work. The aircraft rolled onto the runway just before noon, the heat waves dancing over the tarmac. Emily was supposed to stay on base, but a last-minute logistics issue put her on board to assist with an onboard system check mid-flight. She strapped into a seat near the cockpit, her first time ever flying in something she helped maintain. At 15,000 feet, things felt smooth. Emily listened through her headset as Captain Harris and the co-pilot chatted with air traffic control. She was memorizing every move they made. Then, mid-sentence, the captain's voice faltered. There was a cough, then silence. The co-pilot turned, confused, and saw Harris slumped over the controls. "Captain?" he shouted. Panic surged through the cabin. The aircraft dipped slightly before the co-pilot grabbed the yoke. But seconds later, he gasped, his hand shaking, and collapsed too. Both pilots were down. The autopilot warning tone filled the cockpit. Emily froze. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. The radio crackled. "Flight 427, do you copy? You're losing altitude." Her eyes darted across the instrument panel. She had seen these controls 1,000 times, from below through open panels, not from this seat. Then something inside her clicked. She took the headset from the unconscious pilot and spoke, her voice trembling. "This is Emily Carter. I'm maintenance crew. The pilots are unconscious. I need help." For a moment, the radio went silent. Then came a calm but firm voice. "Emily, this is Air Traffic Command. We're with you. You're gonna fly this bird." Emily's hands trembled as she gripped the control yoke. The Boeing 737 shook slightly in turbulence, its engines humming a low, restless growl. From the headset, the calm voice of air traffic control returned. "Emily, listen to me carefully. You've got full control. What's your altitude?" She scanned the instrument panel, her breath shallow. 22,000 feet and descending, she said, her voice shaking. Okay, keep your wings level. We're diverting nearby traffic and sending 2 F-22 Raptors to escort you. You're not alone. The words gave her a flicker of strength. She adjusted the yoke, stabilizing the aircraft. Through the cockpit window, the endless clouds stretched like an ocean. Her reflection stared back at her. Terrified yet determined, the radio crackled again. Emily, this is Colonel Reeves, U.S. Air Command. We've got your signal. F-22s are en route to your position. Can you confirm both pilots are unresponsive? Emily's throat tightened. Yes, sir, no pulse. They're not breathing. For a second, her voice broke. She pressed a trembling hand to her mouth. But Reeves's tone stayed calm, like an anchor in a storm. Copy that. Emily, you're doing great. What's your background? She hesitated. I'm just a mechanic. I work on systems. I've never flown anything. Then you've already done more than most would, kid. We'll guide you down. Just stay with me. Minutes crawled by. Sweat ran down her forehead as she followed every instruction, adjusting pitch, controlling throttle, and watching the horizon line. Every beep and flashing light on the panel screamed at her. She remembered all those nights studying aircraft manuals, tracing diagrams with greasy fingers under the hangar lights. Every detail she thought she'd forgotten now came flooding back. Suddenly, 2 sleek F-22 jets appeared beside her, cutting through the clouds like silver arrows. The sight stole her breath away. She could see the pilots' helmets turned toward her cockpit. One of them raised a gloved hand, a salute. Flight 427, this is Falcon 1, we've got eyes on you. You're safe now. Tears filled Emily's eyes. She nodded to herself, whispering, I can do this. But the situation was getting worse. One of the 737's engine indicators flashed red, low oil pressure. The aircraft began to vibrate violently. Command, we're losing the right engine, she cried. Static filled her headset before Reeves's voice cut through sharply. Stay calm, Emily. Shut down engine 2. You'll still fly steady on 1. You've got this. Her fingers moved fast across the panel. Fuel cutoff, engine switch, thrust lever. Exactly as she'd seen done during maintenance drills. The dead engine wound down with a haunting whine. For a moment, there was silence. Then, over the radio, the air traffic controller whispered, Emily, the way you just handled that. Are you sure you're not a pilot? She smiled faintly through tears. Not yet. Outside, the F-22s formed tighter around her, protectors in the vast sky. The sun dipped low, painting the clouds in fire and gold as Emily, the mechanic nobody noticed, flew an entire passenger jet alone through the evening sky. The cockpit was filled with the steady hum of engines and the faint crackle of the radio. Emily's palms were slick with sweat. The headset pressed tightly against her ears as the calm but firm voice of the air traffic controller came through. American 738, we have you on radar. You're at 30,000 feet. I need you to take a deep breath. You're doing fine. What's your current heading? Emily glanced at the instrument panel. Dials, switches, and blinking lights she only half recognized from her dad's simulator at home.
Heading 270,
she replied shakily. Good, the controller said. We'll bring you down gradually. Turn 10 degrees left. Keep your wings level. Can you confirm autopilot is still engaged? She scanned the buttons, heart racing. Yes, I think so. It says CMD green. Perfect. That means the plane's helping you. You're not alone up there. Those words made her eyes sting. For a second, she wasn't a terrified college student. She was her father's daughter, sitting beside him again, hearing his calm laughter as he guided her through mock emergencies on his simulator. You've got this, Emmy, he used to say. A steady hand can save 100 hearts. She adjusted the yoke slightly as instructed. Outside the window, clouds rolled like waves, sunlight piercing through them. It looked peaceful, but her body trembled with every vibration of the aircraft. The controller's voice softened. Emily, we've got military assistance inbound, just routine escort, nothing to worry about. Escort? Yes. 2 F-22s are approaching your position. They'll fly alongside you for visual confirmation. Moments later, she saw them. 2 sleek gray jets sliding into formation beside her like silent guardians. One pilot saluted her through the glass. She blinked back tears. Seattle Center, she whispered, voice breaking. I see them. Copy, Emily, they're with you all the way. The passengers in the cabin gasped as they spotted the fighter jets. Some pointed their phones at the windows, others whispered prayers. Hope spread quietly among them. Emily's mind focused again. Seattle, we're low on fuel. What's my next step? You're doing incredible, Emily. Begin descent to 12,000 feet. Reduce throttle slightly, easy on the controls. Her hands moved gently, steady despite the shaking inside. The nose dipped. The engines roared softer. The altimeter needle began to fall. Then a voice broke through the static, an older, trembling one. Emily? She froze. Who is this? This is Captain Rhodes. You're flying my plane, kid. Her heart skipped. One of the pilots was regaining consciousness. Faint, weak, but alive. Captain. Both of you were unresponsive. I thought, I know. Good job taking over. You just keep her steady till I can move. Tears filled her eyes. I'm trying, the captain coughed weakly.
You're not trying, Emily. You're flying.
Keep that bird alive, the F-22s held tight beside her. Below, the coastline of Seattle began to shimmer through thin clouds. Control came back on the radio. American 738, we're clearing all airspace for you. You're priority one. In that moment, Emily realized hundreds of lives were depending on her. And somehow she wasn't scared anymore. Perfect Emily's headset crackled again, this time with the steady voice of Captain Rhodes. All right, Emily. I'm barely conscious, but I'm listening. Tell me our status. Her voice trembled but held steady. We're descending through 11,000 feet. Autopilot is still on. I've got 2 F-22s on both sides. Air traffic control says we're clear for emergency landing. That's perfect. You're doing exactly what you need to. Keep your hand light on the yoke and don't fight the plane. Let it breathe. She nodded silently, tears slipping down her cheeks. The plane's nose tilted lower, the city lights of Seattle glimmering ahead through a gray veil of clouds. The sunset had faded. Now the sky was painted in deep indigo and streaks of amber. American 738, the controller said. We've cleared the runway. Fire and rescue are standing by. You're lined up with runway 26 left. When you're ready, disengage autopilot and ease her down. Emily's breath hitched. The words disengage autopilot echoed in her head like thunder. That meant it was all her. No computers, no crew. Just her. Copy that, she whispered. Emily, Captain Rhodes murmured, weak but certain. You've trained for this all your life without realizing it. Remember your dad's simulator? Her lip quivered. I do. Then you already know what to do. You're his legacy. Bring us home. Her fingers hovered over the switch. The click of disengagement filled the cockpit. Autopilot off. The plane responded instantly. A surge of raw control beneath her palms. She felt its weight. Its soul. The F-22s dipped slightly, one flashing its lights in silent encouragement. Emily gripped the yoke, gently aligning the glowing runway ahead. Flaps 15, Captain Rhodes instructed softly. She reached out, voice steady now. Flaps 15 set. Good girl. Keep your descent rate shallow. Beautiful. You're right on glide path. Passengers held each other tightly in the cabin. Some whispered prayers. A child cried softly in her mother's arms. Everyone knew. Their lives were in the hands of a 19-year-old student who'd never flown a real jet 500 feet. Came the automated call-out. Emily's heartbeat matched the rhythm of the altimeter. 200. The runway lights glowed brighter, stretching toward her like a lifeline. 50. She pulled back slightly. The main wheels touched first. A loud thud, then a scream of rubber against concrete. The nose dipped, then steadied. The jet slowed, brakes screeching, reverse thrust roaring. Passengers screamed, then clapped, then sobbed all at once. The aircraft rolled to a halt, lights flashing red and white outside as emergency vehicles surrounded it. Emily slumped forward, her hands trembling. We're down. Captain Rhodes smiled faintly beside her. You did it, kid. You saved them all. The radio erupted with cheers from air traffic control. You did it, Emily. You're clear. You're safe. Seattle Tower salutes you. Tears streamed freely down her face as she looked out the cockpit window, the 2 F-22s still circling above. Wings rocking in silent salute before banking away into the fading light. Firefighters climbed aboard moments later, followed by paramedics and reporters. But Emily just sat there staring at the control panel, still feeling the vibration of the engines she'd tamed. When she finally stepped out of the cockpit, passengers stood and applauded. A woman hugged her tightly. You saved my son, she whispered. Emily smiled through tears. No, ma'am. We saved each other. The next morning, every news station in the world carried her photo. A college student in a hoodie, eyes wide and humble, standing in front of the massive Boeing 737 she'd landed. Headlines read, 19-year-old American student lands passenger jet alone, hundreds saved. The world called her a miracle. The aviation community called her a natural, but Emily never called herself a hero. She just whispered to herself, as her father once did, steady hands can save 100 hearts.